This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, the War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman. I don't create things to be consumed. I hope it transcends time, transcends boundaries, transcends cultures. Music can change the world. Those are the words of the Tunisian-American artist, singer, composer Emel Mathlouthi, also known as Emel. In 2011, she stood amongst the crowd of protesters in Tunis and began singing her song Kelti Hora, which means my word is free. Overnight, an anthem of the Arab Spring was born. Emel became known as the voice of the Tunisian Revolution. She went on to perform all over the world, including at the 2015 Nobel Peace Prize concert, where she sang Kelti Hora. Singing in Arabic, English, and Spanish, Emel doesn't shy away from talking about social issues, from dedicating her songs to Mahsa Amini in Iran to calling for justice in Palestine. NPR says Emel Mathlouthi is the 21st century's catalyst for change. Well, today, here in Democracy Now!, Emel Mathlouthi joins us in our studio. Her latest album has just been released last year. It's called Mra, or Arabic for women. The album's 100% women, produced from the technicians to the photographers, including artists from Iraq, Ukraine, Mali, to name a few. Emel, welcome to Democracy Now! It's great to have you with us.
Thank you. Thank you.
Can you go back a decade to 2015 and describe what it was like to sing for thousands of people at the Nobel Peace Prize, and why it was that you were the singer chosen the night before the awards were given?
It was very scary. And exactly, I wasn't sure because at the Nobel Peace concert, they usually invite like the most famous from around the world to celebrate peace. And somehow I landed there, probably because of my role as a protester, as a protest singer.
And because that year, right, the Tunisian quartet, the government was overthrown with your help, and the Tunisian quartet was getting the Nobel Peace Prize.
Yes. So the Nobel Peace Prize Committee, they were looking for an artist to celebrate the occasion, and I'm very grateful that they decided to choose me. And what was really exceptional that year is that usually during the ceremony, there's usually a string quartet or chamber music. But that was the first year that they decided to invite like an artist, contemporary artist. So I'm kind of like very proud that like I was the first one, and then followed John Legend and Patti Smith. So I kind of like opened, but really like I was very intimidated because I was singing a song in Arabic. So for an audience that was mainly Norwegian. And it's also like my music has a lot of words. It's not just words to decorate and to be just like harmonious. There's a lot of meaning. So it was like a very special experience.
Well, talk about Kelti Hora, my word is free.
Kelti Hora was the first song that I put in music. It was somebody else's poem. Emel Mathlouthi, and I remember we were still in Tunisia, like completely clueless and trying to make sense of the chaos, which is something that exists in the song. And he hands me this small piece of paper, and so for a long time I had a music that I couldn't find lyrics on, and for a long time I couldn't find a music for those lyrics. And one day it was kind of like this magic potion. They immediately worked really well together. And I remember when I was the first like time I was singing it and composing it in my tiny kitchen, in my tiny studio in Tunis, I dreamed it immediately. Like, I was alone, no one's ever heard it before, but I was already hearing it with like a big choir and a big orchestra. It always felt to me like it's like an hymn, you know, an anthem. It always seemed to me like the song that was going to just gather everybody together. And of course, like, little did I know what it's going to become.
So really, the Tunisian revolution began in December of 2010, considered the first of the Arab Springs. And you sang this in January of 2011?
The first time I wrote the song actually was in 2007. And then when I left for Paris, I sang it the first time at the Place de la Bastille. There was like this big concert. And that performance, I think, started traveling. And like, from what people kept telling me, I think it gave a lot of people hope and also power to really believe that freedom actually can happen, and that we can actually be free human beings that can decide for ourselves. So the song kind of like, you know, was in the underground, making its little way, till the famous day where I was in the street, and like, my friend Layla Bindaba, the lawyer, she took me by the hand. She's like, you have to sing it here for us, not in France, here right now in this moment. And I just did.
And of course, the Tunisian revolution led to the toppling of the government. The Tunisian Quartet group of politicians took over, and that's who is getting the Nobel Peace Prize. How did you become a musician?
I think I've always had it in me. I remember when I was 8 years old, I knew that I knew how to sing. I used to love learning a lot of songs, and the teacher in first grade, she used to call me in other classes so that I can help her teach the other kids. So I was always musical. I always loved to sing songs and learn songs. And probably also my dad has a very beautiful vinyl collection, so I really listened to a lot of Vivaldi and Beethoven growing up. And I don't know, somehow like it stayed in me, and I've always loved singing.
So you ran the gamut from classical music to metal, heavy metal?
So it was classical music then, Céline Dion, because I learned how to sing with Céline Dion. Not herself, unfortunately, but with her songs, I really, that was my technique. That's where I got like all my vocal lessons, and then I went to metal because growing up in Tunisia, you feel that you really need to shake things up, and also as a woman, as a young woman, I felt like there was so many things wrong with us, with the Arab world. So it wasn't very long before I realized that I needed to shake things up.
So you came out with this album in 2024 that was completely produced by, fronted, and the back end was totally women. Talk about Mra. So
Mra started just like any other album. I was discussing with the label, and they wanted me to work with this guy producer, and I didn't really like his work. And then all of a sudden I was thinking, but why does it always have to be a guy? And in like 10 years of music making, I've worked 99% of the time with guys, which I love and I have no problems with. But I thought to myself, is it possible that we're actually less intelligent at this specific craft? And basically, I was trying to prove myself wrong, because I thought I cannot be in a world, I cannot raise my daughter in a world where this is true. We are capable of everything. And it's really sad, actually, because I feel like also in the music industry, we're not making that much progress, and women are not getting the opportunities they deserve. And so we actually sabotage ourselves from when we're little girls. Like, when you're a little girl, you think about singing, you never think about producing, you never think about being a technician or a wizard. Luckily, there's a lot of us that try to push the doors, but it was my way of pushing doors for other women, because I believe it's our responsibility as women to create space for each other.
Introduce us to Massive Will.
So Massive Will is the first song that actually I wrote for the album, and I remember I sent like the early demos, and I was so excited because I always felt the song was really powerful, and I sang it to the label, and I kept sending them demos, and they were like, So eventually, like, I decided to just go my own way, and I prefer to believe in the power of my own song and in the power of just songs. I felt that song could really create something different, like as a movement, as songwriting. And when I perform it now on stage, I'm very proud of the effect that it really, like, it creates something, even though some people might not expect. Because I mostly have been singing in Arabic, so singing in English, I feel that it always provokes a switch in the energy and the atmosphere, and yeah.
This is Massive Will. Emel Mathlouthi. Okay, Emel, singing Massive Will. Also on this album, in Arabic, you perform Suti. Talk about Suti, which in Arabic means voice.
It means my voice. And this song, I wrote it as an a cappella during COVID. I felt like this weakness because my voice was kind of getting tired, and with everything that was the isolation that was happening during COVID, I felt like I wanted to kind of write this gospel, my Soti, Soti, Soti. I didn't have much lyrics back then, but I wrote the melody right away. It just came to me like all at once. And eventually, to me, Soti is not only the voice that is like the strongest instrument that we have to connect with each other, but also to speak up. And it's, to me, like that song really feels like a medicine, like to believe in ourselves, in our power, and to believe in each other.
That your voice is your most powerful weapon.
Exactly.
صوتي ما عنده حدود صوتي مالوش نهاية صوتي يرسم لي وجود والوان جديدة في سمايا صوتي ما عنده حدود صوتي مالوش نهاية صوتي يرسم لي وجود والوان جديدة في سمايا صوتي يدوي كل بحار يعزف كيف صوتي ما عنده حدود صوتي مالوش نهاية صوتي يرسم لي وجود والوان جديدة في سمايا صوتي ما عنده حدود صوتي مالوش نهاية صوتي يرسم لي وجود والوان جديدة في سمايا صوتي يدوي كل بحار يعصف كيف
You also have a song, Mazel. Again, this is on your latest album, Mra, which is woman in Arabic. Who is Mazel?
So Mazel started with a correspondence I was having with one of my supporters, and between the lines I understood that there's a very sad story of abuse and sexual violence against this woman who happens to be a trans woman, but also I was really admiring her strength because Mazel means still. So it's not about just being a victim. It's actually about owning the narrative. Like it says, I still have hopes, I still have dreams to build my future. And I really found myself also in those words. And I think we all need to gain power from a very tragic, from a very diminishing incident. We can recreate power.
Let's turn to Mazel.
عندي أمل عندي أحلام باش نصنع طريقي وعمري ما نسلم ونزرع عالم جديد ما زالت له شيعة ما زالت الدوامة ما زال صوت الرعد صوت البكاء والحسرة وكلام الناس حبيت ننسى الصوت حبيت ننسى ريحة التراب وانا نجري في ثنية وش تصب عليا والريح حسفت بيا ما زال عندي أمل ما زال عندي أحلام باش نصنع طريقي وعمري ما نسلم ونزرع عالم
Mazel, Emel, here in our Democracy Now! Studio. You also sing for Palestine, and you've been doing that for years. What first inspired you?
I think I remember learning about it from my dad, who actually, during his years in Paris in the 60s, he was very active with the Democratic Liberation Front. And I remember I was really shocked, like, is there still colonization? How is it possible? Because I knew that we were colonized once before, so I couldn't fathom the idea that there was one country that was still oppressed. And eventually, like, I met some Palestinians, because a lot of Palestinians came to Tunisia to study. And actually, one Palestinian played a really key role in who I am today, because back then I used to sing in English, I was in metal, and then he saw me singing like protest songs like John Baez, and he said, your voice would sound really amazing in Arabic. And I laughed at him. I said, it's not possible. I have absolutely no no learning, nothing. Like I won't do it. And he handed me a tape with this song that's called عصفور طل من الشباك. A bird came to my window, which is a very symbolic song. And from that song, I just, my life changed, my songwriting changed, and I really found my path.
Can you talk about singing both in Iraq, and this was not a safe time to be singing there, and also singing with women in Iran?
I don't think I've ever thought like, oh, should I be careful? To me, like part of being a singer is kind of like Superman, you know, like I have my music is my cape. And so like, of course, Iraq is such a beautiful country and civilization. And I had just released my first album. The revolution just happened. And in Tunisia specifically, we were very sad about what was happening in Iraq because we studied history. So I was very happy to be invited there. It was very funky, to say the least, because we were driving around in a bunker. We were handed life jackets, or I don't know what's it called.
Bulletproof vests.
Bulletproof, yeah, not life jackets. And we were invited by the French Cultural Center, and which happened in what we call the red zone, which is like in town, so meaning unsafe. And it was at once very tragic, and also the technicians that came to work on our show, they had to cross so many dangers to be there, and we were there like coming from so many different places, just, you know, to gather around music and to bring music.
And in 2013, you were featured in the documentary No Land's Song about this all-woman concert performed in Iran. Talk about that experience.
So I was invited by the filmmaker Ayat Najafi, and he mentioned to me, so we're working on this documentary where we want to organize the first concert with female solo singers in Iran since the Islamic Revolution, because women in Iran, they can sing, but they have to be in the back, which to me kind of felt more violent than not being allowed to sing at all, because you just couldn't be your own person. And a lot of what I'm doing is about like my vision and creating and following my dream. So of course I was all in. Initially I think they needed French singers in order to make some pressure on the authorities so that we can get like the authorization. So the whole documentary is about, are we going to do this concert? Is it going to happen? And about all the difficulties. And somehow I landed there because of what happened in Tunisia. And I succeeded. We hired a guy who actually we removed from the mix in the end. So he was on stage, but at some point I got to sing Kalimti Hara by myself. And I'm a huge fan of Iran and the history and the culture and the cinema. I really like the first inspirations when I first went to Paris. I was watching all of like Kiarostami and Panahi's movies. So to me, it was almost like a full circle moments, like those mountains, the terrible tragedy, the sadness, but also like the power and like working with these women, like instrumentalists. And one of them, I remember I was always like watching her because she had like this big saz or like this instrument, super technical. And she inspired me.
And talk about the power of the movement after the death of Mahsa Amini.
Yeah, so I've always been very drawn to Iran and the bravery of the people and the women. And so when Mahsa Amini was killed, I was immediately I felt that I had a responsibility to carry her voice, carry the voices of all the women that are fighting on a daily basis. And because I have been there and I have met them and I have seen and I have, for just 2 weeks, I experienced to have a scarf on that was not my decision. So I felt that if I could participate with my voice in raising awareness around the world, and I'm very proud of like that connection that was created between me and Iranians now that come to my shows. And when I show images of all the women waving their scarves and all those images, women cutting their hair and the protests, I feel like as if I'm starting like a new revolution.
Well, talk about your own clothes. You mentioned your cape before. Your song, your music is your cape, but your real cape, what you're wearing.
Yeah, so the skirt is from this brand. It's called OTH. They're two designers, Lebanese and Tunisian, and they make beautiful, crazy clothing out of recycled material. And I really love their approach to fashion. And the top is from an Egyptian designer who creates like these molds. So I feel like super powerful.
And you're wearing a little sign.
Yes. So this is a brooch that was gifted to me by a Palestinian friend. So it's a bird and it says Free Palestine. And because I forgot it today, we printed it. So
where do you head from here? You have your album that was produced last year, but you go on tour. Where are you headed?
So I'm going to be going on tour in November. It's going to be in Europe. We're going to have a Europe tour in Berlin, Brussels, Switzerland, a little bit like all over Europe. And I'm also working right now on developing my show into a performance art thing, like more theatricalized version. Hopefully I could premiere it here in New York in 2027.
Well, I look forward to seeing it. Emel, thank you so much for coming to Democracy Now! Emel Mathlouthi, the Tunisian-American artist, singer, composer, known as the voice of the Tunisian Revolution. I'm Amy Goodman. Thanks so much for joining us.